Yes, everyone, good morning. Welcome back to Forever United TV. Saturday morning, Premier League opening weekend is here. Liverpool won last night. Manchester United lost out on Carlos Baleba. It was a bit of a sobering day for Man United fans yesterday, but there is still hope. The dust has settled from that and what happened yesterday in midfield right now. Ruben Amorim still wants his midfielder, so talks continue. Reports coming up from over 2 weeks ago about Adam Wharton and where Manchester United are at with him and what could happen next with him. I'm going to talk about that as the main part of the show this morning as well. Manchester United's other options in midfield and the reports on them. Up-to-date reports on both, well, a couple of midfielders. We'll discuss them as well. We'll get your thoughts in the live chat on top of this. Manchester United's goalkeeper hunt as well. Want to do a bit of an update on that one also, because that is now starting to hit the limelight again. Or limelight. That's starting to hit the headlines again. Obviously, because Manchester United now are not looking to find 90 million plus for Carlos Baleba. Everyone has started to talk about the other potential deals. But it is the midfield that Ruben Amorim wants. It's prime target said by both Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano in terms of what Manchester United do next. So it's not like we're possibly going to go, well, we could possibly go into this season empty-handed in terms of midfield, but not through the want of trying to bring in a midfielder. And this is where we're starting with Adam Wharton and why this might actually be a potential. Now, I've said all along, and a lot of you will quote me on this and saying, this is just as difficult as it is getting Carlos Baleba out of Brighton right now. Look, Manchester United are not facing, I would say, a club as secure as what Brighton are when we're looking at Crystal Palace. They're in a completely different financial situation. Obviously, still needing to raise funds to bring players in. Players on the last years of their contracts that they're having to sell on the cheap. Crystal Palace, with being dumped out of the Europa League, in any position to turn down a respectable bid from Manchester United. Now, the report that I want to talk about is from when we spoke about this. I think I was in Ibiza actually when we said, and this story came about. Manchester United obviously identifying Adam Wharton. We've known about Adam Wharton anyway. I think I've been talking about him from the back end of last season for Manchester United. You remember what I said in my explanation for Adam Wharton? I thought Adam Wharton was a realistic target for Manchester United potentially next summer. I just didn't even think about what was going on with Carlos Baleba because I didn't think United would be able to get him at the time. And then I, like every other Manchester United fan, got the hopes up when Carlos Baleba's stories started circulating. We could get him. We're all in for him. Manchester United did everything they possibly could, but got turned away at the last minute. Well, not so much last minute, because that's another point I want to make. There is time. Manchester United have come out of this, walked away with plenty of time to get something else done. And yes, it was a crap day yesterday for Manchester United in terms of our hunt and trying to find this perfect midfielder. We're coming down a little bit from it now. The dust has settled. And like we said this a few days ago, and this is the report I'm just going to read out now. Manchester United are set to make formal inquiries, a formal inquiry for Adam Wharton, who is their top target. Hillman from Sporting and Edison from Atalanta are also on the shortlist, but down the shortlist of midfielders for Manchester United. This comes from the same source that revealed United's interest in Carlos Baleba, and Carlos Baleba hit the news through Indy before Ornstein and Romano did. Remember that. That's when all of that news came about, and we were laughing it off and thinking, whoa, can you imagine? We were just getting excited about Sesko being completed for Manchester United. A few days later, bang. We only had a week, really, to deal with Carlos Baleba. Remember that. Manchester United moved quickly. They went in, they spoke to the player, few days communicating with the player, making sure that he wanted to get on board with Manchester United, got that done, finished, went to the club, just not possible. Simple as. Crystal Palace are in a completely different situation than what Brighton are. Yes, they still have a contract on Adam Wharton till 2029. We're not kidding ourselves here. This is going to take a substantial bid from Manchester United still to get Adam Wharton in. But still, just as good a signing for Manchester United right now in what we need. I would say that he isn't the robust physicality type of midfielder that would be up there compared to Carlos Baleba, but you still got to look at him and his craft and what he actually does. He's aggressive. He's very physical in what he does and what he's got in his attributes, but he reads the game very well, and his positional sense is absolutely outstanding. And I think this more like a Carrick type of centre midfielder for Manchester United. Great vision, great passing, and I think would definitely suit what we need right now. So in terms of the actual news and hope for Manchester United with a midfielder going forward, Adam Wharton is top of the list, confirmed. I did all of the searching around last night, went through all the reports again, tried to dig out what was said before and where we could be at right now. And these news and these stories are going to start to mount up now for Adam Wharton, so we can expect these stories to start to circulate a little bit more now on this one. And we do have to accept that there is still the disappointment from Baleba, but still time to actually go in for someone else. If United actually went in and started talking and inquiring, like India's saying, for Adam Wharton, then we could actually start to see the Manchester United fan base obviously warm to the idea of a different type of midfielder coming in as well. Because let's not forget, like what Fabrizio Romano said last night, Carlos Baleba wants United. He wants to move to Manchester United. And Carlos Baleba, to Manchester United, them noises and them stories don't end this summer. He could be a Manchester United player next season. And United will work on that deal throughout the season to make sure that they can secure him again next summer. There's a lot dependent on how successful Manchester United are. But don't forget, when we're looking at Carlos Baleba, right now it seems really disappointing. Adam Wharton, I still think, is an absolute superb upgrade for Manchester United. How about both of them together? Because remember what we've said, Casemiro, Maguire, wages off the books next season. A sell-on clause for Marcus Rashford, who's never coming back to Manchester United after what he said. And obviously you've got Rasmus Højlund on top of that also. So them loans with obligations or permanents, whatever they turn into, Manchester United will have the funds available next summer to go out and buy Carlos Baleba as their top target. That we know for definite. If we can get somebody else in now and get a deal done for Manchester United within this window, within this financial window right now, like an Adam Wharton, you could have the pair of them next season. And Rome wasn't built in a day. This is only the second summer transfer window that Manchester United have had with their new recruitment and management team. So to get to this point where we are now, 3 windows in, all of the crap gone, all of the deadwood and the bomb squad gone from Manchester United, a completely new front line, a completely new midfield, and a very, very good defensive line as well with young defenders there. Manchester United could actually, through the stages, and we've said, what did we actually say? Manchester United, in the space of, 3 to 5 years, should be up there competing again. Winning the league, I honestly don't know. No one can predict that. No one can say that Manchester United are going to be capable of challenging for a title. I had a 5-year plan on that one. So another 4 years on from this point now for me is where Manchester United might be challenging for a title. That's what I said. If they get everything right. And step by step, so far, we are looking decent. The age of the players, the value of the players, the wages the players are on this new structure, and everything that Manchester United could raise if they wanted to sell players on. If we were in a similar predicament again, I would completely give up on the future of this football club. But we are about to, after this window is finished, close the book on what was bad at Manchester United and the necessary horrible business and transactions we were doing in the transfer window are over. Because everybody has been upbeat and obviously on board with the signings that we've made. I don't think there's any Manchester United player that's been brought in so far that anyone's got a real problem with. Like to the extent we've got with Garnacho, with Sancho, with Antony. Everything that's happening, Rashford, all of these players that Manchester United bought 2 seasons ago, they're the ones that are causing the problem right now. What Manchester United have brought in, I think, is very good transfer business. And that's just the start of this process of Manchester United going forward, I feel. And I think in another couple of years, everyone will be gone and United will have actual value in their squad. The Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton partnership potential and possibility is genuine. It's genuine there. And maybe the Carlos Baleba not coming in has given Manchester United the perfect chance. Remember what Samuel Luckhurst said. I didn't like it. I don't agree with what he said recently. But he was on point in what he said, that Manchester United could put a pin in Carlos Baleba and accept that they could do the groundwork for this deal, like what Ben Jacobs said, for next summer. And we want a player for now. So, the player for now and the extra player to come in is obviously going to be someone better than what we've got. Otherwise, United are not going to buy them. So, if we can get into Crystal Palace and get Adam Wharton at the right price. There is an agreement in place for him to leave also next summer. Can that be fast forwarded to this summer? Talks will continue. Talks are ongoing and have been ongoing with Adam Wharton. Manchester United have found out the conditions and everything that could happen this summer with this transfer, and now United would probably look into this point. We'll move on to the next step like we have done with other transfers. Can we get into that? Does the player want to move to Manchester United? I don't know is the answer to this. United are going to try to buy Adam Wharton. We know they are behind the scenes. You might not hear about it. You might not get to that point where we're getting all of the information like we did on Carlos Baleba. We might do. But one thing we do know for certain is he's on Manchester United's radar and he's a target for this season. It's whether or not we can get the right price. And Crystal Palace in their predicament compared to Brighton could be a completely different kettle of fish. And the scenario could come about where United take advantage of this because obviously if you're in the Europa League, you don't want to leave the club. You want to give it a good go. But players are dropping out of Crystal Palace at the moment and it doesn't look like a secure ship. Why are they not investing into what's going on? If Manchester United come in with a big bid, then could Crystal Palace be tempted into letting Adam Wharton go at this stage? Yes and no. But at the end of the day, again, it's going to come down to what Manchester United put on the table. Are they going to go in with that bid? The value of Adam Wharton at the moment is in and around the £70 million mark, which is, it sounds a lot of money. It does, doesn't it? But considering what we were looking at and what might actually be in the offing for Carlos Baleba, seems like a bit of a cheap deal, doesn't it? And that, I think, is why Manchester United will go and test the resolve of Crystal Palace, get into them, see what they can do, see what deal they can thrash out and get over the line. And again, like if it comes down to it, it's another team that Manchester United might potentially be able to get some business done with in January. Don't count out the January transfer window yet with Manchester United and what could potentially happen, because I don't know. Like, this is the worst scenario. So this is where I want to bring in the other transfer targets for United. Could there be any potential movement in January for the other players? I am not fully convinced that Manchester United are in for Morten Hjulmand from Sporting. I just don't. Like, he was Ruben's captain, and you've got to add that into the equation here. Now, Gimme Sport are talking about Morten Hjulmand as Manchester United's now next top target. So you're getting differing reports at the moment on different midfielders. Again, proof that United are actually looking to bring someone in still before this window shuts, which is good news. It just depends if you like them players or not. If you like Hjulmand, if you think he's good enough. I just fully believe that Manchester United want Prem-proven players. I'm not counting out Douglas Luiz at this point either. If Manchester United can get a cheap deal for him, I think Manchester United might look into that. Is there a potential situation with Jadon Sancho with what's happening with him and Roma, not agreeing that deal, that something could happen there? Manchester United, I think, are open to all options right now. And if they get one of them players cheap enough, then I think Manchester United might just go for it. I mean, Douglas Luiz is a player that obviously has got that Prem-proven quality about him, and it is a complete downgrade on what we were looking at in terms of Carlos Baleba. But you know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't like to use the word stopgap. Douglas Luiz could turn into be an absolute baller for Manchester United. You don't know, but it all depends on what Manchester United offer him. Like, his wages are not going to be astronomical compared to other players that Manchester United have brought in the past. And he has got that about him. Like, he could come into it. I don't think he will. I'm going to say that right now. I don't think United will go for Douglas Luiz. I don't think they're looking for them. And I don't like saying it again, but make-weight players, cheaper deals. They want players that they know are going to continue to play for Manchester United. They're few and far between. This is why I think there will be a significant push on Adam Wharton in these next couple of weeks for Manchester United. There could be a complete surprise package. Looking through Manchester United's academy at the moment, there is no one with the experience enough to step up and take over that role for Manchester United or fill in for anybody else. That's not going to happen. I think that's certain anyway, with the way that Ruben is doing things with United's academy at the moment. You have to be exceptional to get in, which is the right stance. But again, like, still another area that has been completely boxed off and we can't go into. Top target gone. Nothing coming through the youth. Obviously, we don't want to take them make weights in. Hillman from abroad, Edison from abroad, both of them being talked about quite a lot at the moment in different on different websites and different media outlets. But it's, again, I just look at it the way that we have the way we've operated this summer is we want proven players. Now, proven in their own countries, that's fine, but this is where United have been stung before. They knew that there was going to be value in Carlos Baleba, even if they put a club record bid in for him. After that, there would still be more value in him. They just weren't prepared to go in this summer and go to 115 million, what is reported. But Romano said something key last night as well, don't forget, that Manchester United approached Brighton without intermediaries, direct face-to-face talks with Brighton, club to club, and that was the moment when they said he is not for sale, and they didn't even give a price. The noises were just stories going around about what Brighton might actually go for. And 115 million, United probably wouldn't have gone for that, I'm guessing. I think around about 100 million, pushing it from 90 up with add-ons to 100, United might have tried to get something done. But they knew that the base was going to be way above. And like Romano said, that the offer was never even there. It wasn't on the table. You pivot, you move on. And they're now going to find out what Ineos and this new management team is all about. What's the plan B? What comes next? Because Ruben has made it clear his demands and what he wants is a central midfielder that is going to help them go forward this season. He is one midfielder away, in his words, according to the reports, from getting Manchester United from that okay season to that excellent season. Now, the team is going to be completely different this season to what it was last season. It's going to be a lot better, but it could be so much more with a midfielder coming in. Hillman's, I get it. I get his qualities. Edison, I love him. I think he's a great player. If I was going to take any of them, I would take Edison straight away. I think he'd be cheaper as well. I think he has got one of the best engines in European football, guaranteed. And if you're looking for a box-to-box player, great. Are we though? Because that's when you're looking at the number 6 then, and like what Baleba does and what Wharton would do next to Bruno Fernandes. Can you afford to have two Bruno Fernandes types players that are going to be bombing up and down that pitch? Now, you could obviously discipline Edison and keep him in that position and make sure that he knows what he's doing and what Manchester United can get out of him in that number 6 role. He's probably better than both Casemiro and Ugarte at the moment. But I think United are being very, very specific in what they go for. And that, I think, is why it will be a big push on Adam Wharton again. I do think that United feel like in what he does, the experience he's got, and obviously showing it in massive games as well, like the FA Cup final against City, like the Community Shield against Liverpool. He has been an absolute world beater for Crystal Palace. I think that's the type of player Manchester United go for. I think that's what we are going to go for now. I know we had this discussion last night about what players might come in, who United might go for, but at the end of the day, I just don't see United going for anything unless it is the absolute. I've seen people talking online last night, talking about Manchester United, just bring somebody in, bring in someone cheaper. I just don't think United are going to go cheaper. I really don't. I don't think that's in what Manchester United are planning right now. It's not going to happen. And I think Adam Wharton's next, and then possibly Edison. That's my guess on this anyway, with what's being said right now. But United are genuinely in and are preparing to make an approach for Adam Wharton, is the story going around. Let's see what happens in the next few days. The weekend is going to be taken over by the football, obviously. So I don't know if we're going to get any major updates. Clearly, if Manchester United go through this weekend now and we have a bad result, let's just say we get battered by Arsenal this weekend, the whole cry next week is going to be for bringing in a new midfielder. This is just highlighting Manchester United's problem even more. If United win, some people might just forget about the midfielder and get a little bit carried away with things. Can't afford to do that. Manchester United, I think, go out for Adam Wharton. If we don't get Adam Wharton, then I could probably accept Edison. But I'm really struggling. As a United fan, I just look at that midfield and I'm thinking, does it look like we are just dropping down to nothing there? It's not nothing, you know what I mean? It's not nothing in terms of Edison. He's a great player. But it just feels like it is after having the talk of Baleba coming in. The main thing is, I think Manchester United are in for Adam Wharton. I think he is the only hope we've got to get anywhere near what Baleba could have given us. Not the same player, but obviously in terms of what Ruben needs in this team and the shape of what he wants to play, I think Adam Wharton is probably the best bet for us right now. Past that, could anyone else come in? You've obviously got all of the players that could possibly come up from the Championship that we've spoken about a lot. There's still plenty that can happen. I don't know. Usually at this point, I would say there could be a surprise package coming in for United that we don't know about and we didn't see coming. I don't see it. I don't. I just, everything that has happened throughout this transfer window tells me that United want ready-made. And that, I think, is how we're going to approach this again. I think they will go for somebody else. I think it will be Adam Wharton. I do. I'm not confident that we will get him at all. But you just don't know. The situation is different, like I said at the top of the show, with Crystal Palace and compared to Brighton. So that, I think, is what we need to remember in this as well. Right, let's get some comments in on this. Stephen says straight away, Adam Wharton looks good and two-footed player works for me. He needs to bulk up a bit. About 14 million by Crystal Palace. What's that? Bought for 14 million by Palace. Honestly, I said this yesterday. How United were on top of Wharton when he was at Blackburn, I do not know. Our scouts must have picked up on him. Okay, it never works that way for big clubs. I've said this before as well. There are always smaller clubs that will find these gems and then they will just develop at the so-called lesser clubs in the Premier League, and then the big club will come in and take him away. I think there is a lot of talent in the Premier League, in that area, in midfield. And you never know, someone else might come through. Don't count out United not buying anybody, by the way. And I know you don't want to hear this, and then something happened in January. Ruben needs to get off to a good start. I think everybody knows this now. But we're going into this first 3 games of the window, first 3 games of the season, without the midfielder. So this is going to put everything in focus now. It's all going to come down to what, and I've said this before. I said it yesterday. I've said it all the way through the week. What Ruben does with Bruno Fernandes will determine how his season goes. And if you can't get a number 8 or number 6 in this window, then you're going to have to find a way of playing Bruno Fernandes differently. And I don't know how he does that. I don't think he's willing to do that. Is a more worrying sign as well for Ruben Amorim. I don't think he's got that plan B. I understand that it changes and the system actually moves around in game and players move around. I would rather have masters of one trade than jacks of all in a Manchester United lineup. I'm big on that, and you all know it. I don't like versatile players. I don't want players to have to play a few positions. I like them being in one. So when that team sheet comes out, I know exactly where that player is playing. I want to know where that player is going to be. I just don't like players that are just being moved around everywhere, because it just means that you just don't know. That's how I read it. It means that you don't know what the best position is for that player, and you're trying to fit him in and squeeze him in. That, at this level, I don't think works. It's like if Arsenal's team sheet comes out and you look at it as an 11 on the paper before the game, I could go to it and I could go every single position that player's playing. Last season with Manchester United, I would look at Man United's 11 when it comes out and I'd go, right, okay, here we go. Where's he playing this week? Where's he going? He could be there. He could be left wing, but he could be right wing. Look, you know, with all of the big clubs ahead of Manchester United, exactly where every single one of them players is going to play. You just didn't with Manchester United last season. That's something that we need to fix. We need to cement players into positions. Round pegs in round holes, please, Ruben, and keep them there. Stop changing the players' positions. I understand rotation and the system will make that player move into different parts of the pitch while the game is going on. But the basis and like the start, I think everybody should know where everybody is playing. That's how you build, in my opinion, that camaraderie, that understanding. You know what that player is going to do in that position. If you keep changing him around, it's like we've seen the link-up play between Dargo and Cunha. I'm looking forward to seeing Ahmad and Mbeumo on the right-hand side, Cunha and Dargo on the left, and then you've maybe got like Bruno coming through and linking things with Agate or Casemiro behind him covering into Sesko. I'm just looking forward to all of the different connections coming in, but you know in this system there's a big gap, and Agate on his own isn't capable of it. So Ruben has to control what Bruno does. And I think the wing-backs are key in this system now as well for Manchester United, and how much energy they've got getting up and down the pitch. Because if Bruno gets that free roll, then United are going to get undone in midfield. We all know it. Remember the talk of the secret midfielder. Who? Oh, the secret midfielder was Baleba, by the way. Thanks for the super chats. Is that Dollar Pro? That was Carlos Baleba. Do you remember it? Like the secret midfielder who United were going for? It turned out to be Baleba after all. That's what Romano was teasing us into. So United goes from almost impossible player to get to an even harder player to get. Well, I guess there is no harm trying to get Wharton, but it will not happen. You never know unless you try. And I think if Manchester United even go in for these players, or this type of player like Wharton, at least you know what it's going to take. Without even mentioning Baleba, I think going into the season, a lot of Man United fans were probably a lot happier than what we were first month of the transfer window. For instance, like Cunha came in, and then everyone was panicking. I remember the talk at the time. Everyone was like, "Well, let's at least get Mbeumo over the line, and then I'll feel a lot more comfortable." Then we got Sesko, and just because Baleba was mentioned, everybody forgot about where he was before, which was we have actually got a miles better team here right now. And I just remember it, like Sesko coming out was brilliant. And then everyone forgot about Sesko because we mentioned Baleba. And United were doing a madness going in for him as well. Look, we did actually attempt to go in and get him. United have got the money to go out and get a midfielder. We know this now. So the pressure's kind of on Ineos a little bit here to go out and find somebody. And in all of this talk and everything that we've mentioned here in the transfer window, in players that United have got, in everything that United are doing, have you not noticed the one thing that is highlighted more than anything else in Manchester United's fan opinion right now? What about Kobbie Mainoo? Where does this so-called superstar of the future come into Manchester United? Not one person I have spoken to has brought him into anything in a Man United side. And this was the problem I was talking about. Kobbie Mainoo is an issue for Ruben Amorim. Can he turn him into a different player? If you are going to transform a player, Kobbie Mainoo, you're going to take him away from that number 10 role. Or you've got to sell him unless you start playing him and turning him into that number 6 type of player. And that is stupid doing that. So whichever way you look at it, Manchester United are just stuck with so many of the same players and crying out to take 2 or 3 of them away just to create the one player that we need, which is going to work in this system. So close to getting it absolutely bang on at the moment, Manchester United, but we've just got too many. You think about it there. It's like Bruno should be at 10, Mainoo should be at 10, Xerxes should be at 10, Mount should be at 10. Honestly, how many bleeding 10s do we need? I'd swap 2 or 3 of them for one number 6 player at Manchester United. Just too many. Can anyone in the chat actually talk to me? Does Kobbie Mainoo actually come into this anywhere at all? Is there a way of making it work with him? I just don't see it. I don't. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be downbeat. I don't want to be negative. You know, I'm always trying to be upbeat and think on the positive side of things. I just don't know how Kobbie Mainoo fits in the side. I can't figure it out. I keep on trying and I keep on getting stuck. England tried to play him as a 6. I didn't like it. His best performances have come further up the pitch, but he's just not going to play there. He's an expensive reserve player right now for Manchester United. And again, with all of this talk about Kobbie Mainoo wanting to sign this contract, unless Ruben turns him into a number 6, while Ruben's there, Kobbie Mainoo is not going to stay at Manchester United. I can't see a world in how he does. I don't. And someone come out, explain it to me how you think it might actually work for United, because I don't see how Kobbie fits into this side. I really don't. I don't think he'll start at weekend. I don't think he's even in the thinking of Ruben Amorim to start this weekend. And if you've got that much talent on the bench and he's not a starter in your 11, someone who's demanding a new contract at 180 grand a week, you've got a problem. You have. And I don't know how we get past it, because next summer, I think, if Ruben's still in charge, Kobbie Mainoo will be sold by Manchester United. I think Bruno Fernandes might go. Casemiro's definitely going. You can see what's going to happen next summer. The whole focus will be on Man United's midfield right now. Bruno Fernandes might go. Casemiro's definitely going. You can see what's going to happen next summer. The whole focus will be on Man United's midfield right now. Bruno Fernandes might go. Casemiro's definitely going. You can see what's going to happen next summer. The whole focus will be on Man United's midfield right now. But then again, is Ruben still going to be in a job? If it all goes wrong, like, we know the relationship between Sir Jim and Ruben Amorim is very, very strong. We've heard so many bleeding interviews over it and their relationship, and he is backing him. He really is. But I am concerned if the pressure starts to mount. And we're getting into a position now, this going into the season, where there's going to be no more talk of what Manchester United are doing in the window and who we're going to bring in and who we're going to bring in to change things. It's all now about what Ruben Amorim does with this team. It's about results. It's about the games. It's about what happens on the pitch. And there's only one man that gets criticised for this now, and that's Ruben. That's it. Fans who overrate Bruno, what are you smoking clueless? Some of this fan base, no football knowledge, just because you run around clueless, spamming the ball about doesn't make you a good footballer. Bruno Fernandes is a world-class footballer. I'm just going to shut you down there, Adrian, mate. I'm sorry. Bruno Fernandes just doesn't fit a certain system, and it's down to Ruben. Don't blame Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes would go into any Premier League club. I'm telling you right now, he would. The numbers that Bruno puts up, honestly, I still will never get the Bruno hate, but people shutting him down as a completely average player, you're always going to get shut down by me. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. I like Bruno Fernandes. I just worry for him this season. I know the backlash from the fans that's coming. And again, I won't blame Bruno. I'll blame Ruben for not figuring out the place to play him and discipline him. Look, there is more to come. I think we still get more out of Bruno Fernandes this season. I haven't got a problem in being in the side. I just think he operates better as a number 10. And I'm kind of worried that he's a make-weight number 8. The onslaught that's coming this season, I already know. And it's a shame. It is a real shame. Bruno in the midfield too is the problem. We need to trust our front three to create and score, not Bruno. We need a combative and progressive midfield. Agate and Baleba, or Wharton and Baleba. Mainoo too slow. Two massive players at Manchester United there. Jason, thanks for the super chat there, but that just pinpointed two big problems, Bruno and Mainoo, trying to squeeze them into this team. And there's not one person I've seen yet in the chat that can fit them in comfortably anywhere else, because you all want to see Cunha and Mbumo and Sesko. That front three is going to take care of itself now. No one wants to see anything else in that front three other than them. The wing-backs are going to obviously speak for themselves. Your creation is going to be your wing-backs and your front three. That's the system that works. Your midfielders feed them. Bruno will just want to be involved all the time up front, and I think that is probably what most people are getting at, I feel, and what they're worried about. Michelle says Mainoo is good. He's a good player. He was England and United best player last year. No, I don't think he was. He didn't play enough, Michelle, to be honest. That's another problem I've got with Mainoo. He's staying fit. Good morning, Adam, says Red Devil. I'm new here and like your work. Would you not agree that we need a more ball-winning midfielder, because we get still overrun a lot? No, 100% agree with that, mate. I think Adam Wharton would be perfect for Manchester United. Even at this point right now, I think Adam Wharton would fit what Manchester United are doing, would fit a Ruben Amorim system. 100% I do. I think him and a Baleba, that's a different level of midfield altogether, that. Block with another super chat. Cheers, buddy. Not sure that we are really in for Baleba. We are. The club has no money, and Baleba was just a smokescreen to appease fans. Very clever Ineos Glazers. Totally disagree, Sean, mate. I'm going to be honest with you, mate, on that one. Cheers for the super chat, buddy. It wasn't a smokescreen at all. I think United were genuinely in for him. There's too many people saying it, and I believe in the people that were talking about it. United revolving credit facility that has been expanded. Obviously, the way that we've done our finances this window, I think that Manchester United were genuinely in for him, mate. I do. Demo with another one says, Bruno, amount obsession killed Ten Hag. Amorim's, I'm not sure. Was you supposed to say something else on the back of that one? Or is that and Amorim's? Oh, Mason Mount. If we'd have bought a midfielder that we needed instead of buying another playoff up in that number 10 role, like, honestly, the windows, like Xerxes, it's a 10th. You could go back to Mason Mount, like the last free transfer window, buying 10s, buying 10s every single window. My God. I would try Kobbie on the left of mid or the right side. Pete, I'm not sure what you're on about there, mate, with that one. It can only be in the 10 then. There's only 2 players in front of the back 4. Which position do you mean, buddy? Thought you said Belieber was now or never, Adam. Yeah, I think it really is, because next summer I'm scared, mate. I'm scared. Pam, sorry. I'm scared that it'll actually be another club that comes in for him. What Manchester United can do to get hold of him, I don't know right now. And again, like I've just explained, I'm scared because this season things will change. A player's mindset will change. And it's all good saying, like I have, like we could go back in for him next summer. It's all great and well. And he wants to come to United even without European football. Still think that it's going to be harder for Manchester United. That's the point I'm trying to make. And I am worried because everyone is going to be in for him next summer. Unless he has an absolute stinker. Donnarumma is dead in the water, everybody, by the way. Let that transfer go. It is not going to happen for Manchester United. That 100% is never going to happen now. So, yeah. Let Donnarumma go, I'm afraid. On Senny Lamens, though, that definitely is something that can happen for Manchester United. Senny Lamens to United is still actually a very, very good possibility this window. I know it's not going to excite many fans because he's not going to come in and take over Andre Onana straight away, but that could be one of them progressive transfers. And what we're looking at here, I think, is that Manchester United now possibly may look to go all in for the goalkeeper now that we're not getting Belieber. And obviously the midfielder that we're going to bring in, if we bring one in, is going to be a lot cheaper than what it would have been to get Carlos Belieber. So, yeah, the talk is now going to hot up with Senny Lamens. But like we said, over the last few days, it's just been absolutely overshadowed by the talk of Carlos Belieber. Manchester United still talking to Senny Lamens representatives and are ready to go for a bid for Senny Lamens. But also, again, I think it's a case of trying to move on the likes of Andre Onana and Altay Bayindir in time. Bayindir has to go for Manchester United to bring in a striker, bring in a goalkeeper. If he goes, expect Senny Lamens to come into Manchester United. That's the news going around at the moment on that one. Keep your comments coming in on all subjects, please, everybody. Also, when it comes to Jadon Sancho, update on him. Again, Damasio's come in saying that talks are continuing with Roma. It's not dead, but the stories last night were that Jadon Sancho isn't happy with the first offer from Roma. And a lot, well, not a lot, there was a few sources coming out saying that he doesn't want to take a pay cut. If he doesn't want to take a pay cut, then he's never going to move to anyone. So I don't fully believe that story, that he's not willing to take a pay cut. He has to move on. Because that's what will happen next summer anyway. So, yeah, if he's looking long-term, he is going to be taking less money. So I don't believe in that. But talks are continuing with Roma over Jadon Sancho. So that story is still there and is still going to continue. What happens over the weekend, I don't know. Like we said, the football is probably going to take preference this weekend. And it's going to be top of the agenda for Manchester United and most of the Premier League, to be honest. And then I think on Monday, everything will really kick into gear and get... well, I think there's a lot of clubs now going into the last 2 weeks of this window that are going to be scrambling around. This is the bit I don't like. I don't like United scrambling around because that means panic buying. And remember, like we bought Casemiro and Antonov late into the transfer window as well, didn't we? And the season had actually started, hadn't it? Yeah, it did. The season had already started when we got started bringing in the likes of Anthony and Casemiro, and I don't want that scenario again. I really don't. Let's get some more comments in on everything. The recruitment team at Manchester United before this current one was. So it was. Oh, I've lost the. There it is again. So it went off my screen then, Obbo. The recruitment team at Manchester United before this current one was dormant. Mainoo, Bruno, Zirkzee, Mount, Cunha, all as number 10s. Adrian says, when Bruno leaves, United can be a proper team like the good old days. The hate on Bruno Fernandes is so uncalled for, honestly. It really is. Like of everything going on right now, all of the bomb squad, all of the big problems at Manchester United, Bruno is not the problem at Manchester United. Honestly, I will defend him every single day. I will look at football properly like I have done and break it down. I think we have got a problem with Bruno Fernandes in his position and the way that he plays. But people are talking like Bruno, when he leaves, everything will be all right at Manchester United. That's not going to be the case. It's not as black and white as that, or as simple as that. It really isn't. I just don't get the pure hatred for one man, thinking that he is the biggest problem at this football club. And it is turning into that right now. I see it. It's the excuse every single time. Except that this guy has actually given everything, unlike some players at this football club. Do you know what I mean? Like, that, I think, gets forgotten a lot in just the mess in which Manchester United Football Club has been run. And we're looking for excuses now as to why we're playing bad. I think the excuses this season, for me, I think this is where I said it before, like the pressure is going to mount on Ruben because he's insistent on pushing Bruno Fernandes back. Did he need to buy 2 10s? Could he have not used the money of Mbeumo or Cunha to buy a number 8? That's the question that's going to get asked, I think, the most going into this season, especially when you're trying to shoehorn Bruno in. Look, I'm not downbeat about Man United's business at all and what's happened this summer so far. I think we've done great. I think we've had a great transfer window. I do. And getting these players out of the door is still massive. Absolutely huge for Manchester United in the future of this football club. So, again, I'm not overly concerned. I don't think that this is going to be as bad as it was last season for Manchester United. I think this team will surprise a few people this season. I really do. I know you can all laugh at me saying that and everything, but I do. I think this team will surprise a lot of people. I think the potential and the progression of Patrick Dorgu is one to watch this season. I'm really looking forward to him. I'm looking forward to Cunha and Mbeumo settling into a system, seeing how they link up with Sesko. Will one of the midfielders step forward? I've got no idea. I can only hope. Will Bruno be disciplined? No idea. I'm not going to hold up much hope for that because he plays the way he plays. And a fully fit backline. Got Leach to come back. If you give me a goalkeeper and put him in, then I think Manchester United will do damage this season. I really do. AMORIM on the new pre-match routine. We're going to change things a bit. Old Trafford should be the heart of the match, but we can't spend 4 hours there waiting for the game. And I think with these facilities at Carrington, we can stay here, prepare for the match away. So basically, let me just read more into this now. We can stay here, prepare for the match away from Old Trafford, and when we arrive at Old Trafford, we need to feel the fans and then go straight into the game. We know a lot of people are waiting for us there to see the players and get autographs. It'll be the same experience for the fans, but for us, it'll be better because we're closer to the match to spend less time there. Right, okay, so Ruben is changing things up apparently. This report just come out. United are going to go to Carrington first of all, it would seem, and then they're going to arrive at Old Trafford after Carrington, not spending 4 hours at the game. Okay. More reports just coming in as well. So we did talk about the midfield options within Manchester United and what we can actually do. And Martin Hillman, again, the report on him. Manchester United have identified Sporting Lisbon's defensive midfielder Martin Hillman as a possible cheap alternative to Carlos Baleba. United think 50 million will be enough to get him to Old Trafford. That report coming out from Court Offside. Again, decisions will be made. Is it going to be a bad thing bringing in someone for that price? Is it going to be bad that a player comes in for 50 million? What are we talking about now? This is where you've got to decide what's a good transfer and what's not a good transfer. Would anybody take Hillman in the chat? Talk to me in the live chat, everybody. Please as well, everyone, we're creeping up to the 500 like mark. Please pop a like on the video if you haven't already. Love that. Loads of you already have done. Make sure that you do subscribe to Forever United TV as well, everyone. And obviously help us hit that 100k mark. We're not far away now, creeping up to the 97,000 mark. So thank you again for all of your support on the channel, everybody. Andreas says, why can't we get a new goalkeeper without selling one? We should get a number one in and the rest will sort out itself. Will it though, Andreas? That's the problem, because nobody wants to leave Manchester United because they're all on this fantastic pay packet and love it at Manchester United because they're so protected there. That, I think, is something that you have to remember with that. Plus, you need to find someone for Onana. I think Manchester United have got a better chance of selling Onana next season. I think United, right now, looking at Onana, he's probably going to be, 1 year left on his contract next summer. They'll probably be able to sell him a lot cheaper and get him off the books completely. And then I think the plan is for someone to actually just walk in to that position like Senny Lamens and just take over it. United looking to find the replacement for Onana for next season now and just integrate him in slowly. I think that's what we're looking at. Adam, do you think it was a bit daft to agree Collier loan unless we bring someone in? We already have awful midfield options. This is why I think we will bring someone in. I do, because of Collier. I said this when he went yesterday. I've got it down on my notes here today as well. Like Collier leaving, and then and United knowing on the same day that they're not getting Carlos Baleba. There has to be another plan somewhere. There has to be another option for Manchester United in this. So that's what I'm intrigued to see what happens next. Will Manchester United end up going for another midfielder? Are they fully convinced by Edison, Hjulmand? I think they go for Wharton. I do. I think the price of Hjulmand is stupid. Last time I heard it was in around 70 million. Something like that. So let's see. Just checking out on quickly. I've seen something pop up there from Romano. I don't know if it will affect Jadon Sancho, but Leon Bailey not in Aston Villa squad today as he's set to leave the club. AS Roma progressing in talks to sign Bailey on loan with option to buy. Clear fave choice of the player also. That is like, I don't know, that wouldn't be like, because Romano has said that Roma want both Sancho and Leon Bailey. So I'm just praying that Jadon Sancho agrees these terms and he just leaves the club. That will make me feel a lot better if we can see someone like that leave. It's getting painful now not seeing these players go and knowing that we're on the 16th of August and we haven't got rid of these players yet. Honestly, it really just boils my piss. It does. Like, I cannot stand to look at these players. I just want them out of the football club. And that, I think, is, again, something that will obviously cheer Man United fans up a little bit. Pick us up. Give us something to get excited about, that we are actually seeing the end of the crap and the nightmare that was these Deadwood mercenaries at Manchester United. A few of them leaving before the end of the window would be nice. Please, United, let's try and get them gone. But again, that just shows you, doesn't it? What we did before and how much of a mess we've made. And these players just standing firm and feeling like they can stand firm in this. All summer, we've had one bid for Jadon Sancho. Maybe one for Garnacho. The interesting one in all of this was as well, like, don't forget, when you're slagging off players like Bruno Fernandes, don't forget, was it Newcastle, Arsenal, Tottenham, Arsenal and Atletico Madrid all looked into the Alejandro Garnacho transfer and decided not to go for him. What does that tell you about that player? That tells me that that player is somebody that is not wanted in their football club. Like, that is what Man United have been dealing with. With that gone, United can. And I think the Rubens point on Manchester United being able to adapt to them troubles and them struggles this season, I think that's the point he's trying to make. He's now got a group of players that are going to be able to handle that pressure a bit more. It's like you've gone from someone like Garnacho is saying that it's been a crap season on national TV or in South America, and not accepting any accountability at all for his part in it. Just what he didn't get. Blaming other people, to someone like Matthias Cunha coming through, and the pressure, and that so-called pressure of being a Manchester United player isn't a pressure, it's a privilege in his world, in his eyes. That type of player coming in instead of Garnacho is going to make a massive difference Mbeumo on the other side, a massive difference. Sesko in the middle, huge difference as well. Another season on for Patrick Dorgu on the left-hand side. Obviously, Lenny Yoro adapting and turning into an absolute beast of a centre-back, while still having likes of Aiden Heaven come through as well, learning also. You got Leacher coming back, one of our leaders coming back into the side as well. If you get a goalkeeper in there, like the team as it is without a midfielder is a lot better than what it was last season. It's not ideal. I'm not making the excuse for not bringing in a midfielder here, by the way. And I don't want to see Mason Mount in as a number 8. I don't even want to talk about that today. I just think it's nonsense talk and shouldn't even be brought up because he's not that type of player. He's another 10. I think the fact that Bruno's going in there and he's starting in at 8 when he's another 10 instead of the likes of Kobbie Mainoo and Mason Mount is because Bruno Fernandes has got an engine. I know Mason Mount has, but I think Bruno Fernandes is willing to give Ruben Amorim more, and that's the only reason that he's going to play in that position. So, yeah. And that's how I see it going. There's a lot to come, and there's a lot to actually discuss over these next few days. I feel the next 2 weeks of this transfer window are going to be absolutely crazy, everybody. Not great at the moment from the last couple of days, but things will pick up. Don't worry, everybody. United are still looking at other options, so that is something that we're going to have to be prepared for. And I will bring you all the news as it comes over the next 2 weeks, of course, leading into the last few days. Match weekend is here, though. Later on, we will be talking a bit more about the game in the evening show as well as all of the news. I'm out for a birthday meal tonight ahead of my birthday tomorrow. Obviously, match day on my birthday. Hopefully, it goes well. And I'm celebrating my birthday and the United win. More on that, obviously, when the day comes. But for now, that is it this morning, everybody. Get your comments in below, please, everyone. Please like the video. Please get involved. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. I will see you all later on in the evening show. If anything breaks through today, I will bring it you, of course. And I'll keep you fully up to date. But I think it's all on the football now, is it not?